Testing. Hey, I think you guys can hear me. All right. So, how's it going? You guys are probably wondering what you're looking at. I still might not be getting sound here. Let me double check this. Yeah, it looks like it's got sound. I think there's just a lag, but that's it. Whoa, okay, I can hear myself now. Okay, I've got to stop that. So, if you're wondering if the frame rate is bad on the stream, it's actually just Minecraft. I think you guys will see this frame rate outside of Minecraft is fine. The reason that the frame rate inside of Minecraft seems to be bad is I did a little experiment, and we're gonna go somewhere else to try this. We'll start this experiment again, and I'll explain it, but I want to start it fresh with the new spawn area. Yeah, let's do in the jungle. That sounds wonderful. Now, this is not my most scientific experiment, but I wanted to do something special for my 500 sub video. And no, this stream is not it. I'm actually going to try and proper edit a 500 sub video that hopefully will be like an anchor. Let's bring Rick over here, and the bots will start spawning soon. So I'll give you guys a little preview of the code that I did. So right here at the top of entity organism, when they spawn, I decided to add in a little, give them, this is just purely scientific reasons. I'm totally full of crap when I say that. I decided to give them each 1 flint and steel when they spawn, and 64 blocks of TNT. And see what happens. And then I put them in a village, and unfortunately, I guess you'll see that in the video that comes out, but it doesn't take too long for them to figure out how to use one, then the other, then both. So as we sit here and wait for them to do what they're going to do, then the screen is messed up. Okay, I see the screen is messed up. Hold on. Man, it was totally functional a minute ago. Wow. OBS, you confused me. Alright, it should fix itself, hopefully. Real quick, check Discord here. Oh, yeah. It is all over the side. Alright. We're back to normal here, I think. Well, and so we've got, I think, 20 species that are rotating in and out. And it seems one species learns to use the lighter, the flint and steel, and another species learns to place TNT blocks. And then when the other species rotates through and lights the lighter and the TNT blocks there, it gets interesting. Again, not my most scientific stuff, but I'm working on a 500 sub video, so it'll come out soon. This is not it. But let me give a shout out to everybody that is here. I should have done that right away. We've got Super Jerry 2, Mechanist, who got blocked from Discord evidently. Mr. Mario Media. We got, I think that's Daniel, or Danielle O. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your names, guys. Appreciate you guys showing up. So, what's new? Well, these guys do this. We have been working hard at doing a multiplayer. Myself and Super Jerry have been putting a lot of time on it, making it so you can have multiple people train on a single server. So that means I'm going to slap this new observer mode so we can kind of float around. That means that the neural nets will actually run on your PC and calculate, then send the outputs to a server, so we can have, ideally, and I'm not sure, I mean, we may need one beefy server to do this, we can crowdsource computing power of these neural nets onto a single server. So then they all exist in the same environment, which will be really cool when we do long runs, because then we can have entire species. It won't be like this 30-second burst stuff. I'm aiming to do long runs where they, hey, TNT uppers, where they last for a week, you know. Up. All right, let's get back into real mode here. So for those of you guys just showing up, I did a lovely little experiment here, purely scientific, not really. And if you think the frame rate's bad, it's definitely because I'm maxing out my computer. I think the stream is actually going all right. We're at 27 frames per second on the stream. It's Minecraft that's way slower. So here's the experiment. Oh, we definitely got to the species that likes to equip and use that particular tool. Yeah, it is not able to handle this. I may have to drop down my max bots, honestly, to get and then redo this thing for the 500 subs, because this is ridiculous. Yeah, everything's on fire and everything's going really slow. Yes, but you've been helping Superjury. So Superjury says, I did not work on it a lot, mostly use schematically. Yeah, you've been guiding me, and they're there for moral support and creating memes like Mechanist does. So yeah, multiplayer's coming slowly. We found out that we are limited by how much information we can pass back and forth, which is not unexpected. As you can see here, even with this just slight amount of fire, my machine's already maxing out for casting. So it's one of the, if you guys sign up as a Patreon, you're helping me get a beefier machine that can act as our server, and then ideally we can run some really crazy experiments with the long, you know, where these guys are lasting for a week, not 30 seconds, and we're doing a bunch of them. So that's where we're going there. I haven't started implementing Nito 2 yet. Been thinking about it a lot. Other big news is when I got to a point where I just could not work on the multiplayer stuff anymore, I started working on, I hope there's nothing weird going to be on this thing. Okay, good. Started working on chaosnet.com front end. It's actually, I don't own chaosnet, but whatever. It's a web interface where we can show leaderboard scores and everything. And it's based off this really simple, free to download, whatever you call it. And I have a login screen. It doesn't do anything yet, but it has this picture of this puppy. It came with that, and I really like that, so I think I might leave that there for now. More support there. Yes, Mechanist, your memes are funny for the most part. Alright, let's see. Yeah, so, I mean, we're not earning that. That's, again, part of the template. That would be lovely. That would be just dandy. But for now, just imagine this is going to be scores and things of that nature, high scores. So I still have to design it. I haven't actually done any designing of it yet. I've just actually have a charts.html. Yeah, so we'll have charts like this. I don't know if we're going to use that. I guess that could be each species split up. Yeah. So, and it'll just have the scores and the training rooms and all that stuff. So we're working on that, so that way we've got some good insight. And you can just go there. You don't have to install the mod and do all that stuff. You can just check here, and I don't know. You could probably do some type of screenshot thing. So, and that the front end is open source. So you, if you'd like to fork it and play with it, be my guest. It's I think github/schematical.com/chaosnet-frontend. Whoa. And the whole thing just froze and it's done. Okay. blew up because something couldn't find a spawn attempt after 5 attempts, or 10 attempts, yes, because everything's on fire. Amount of trainers, yes, amount of trainers would be cool. I mean, what'll be really cool is when we got these things lasting for a week, and like, because then people can hop on as observers as well, and they can observe even if they're not training. You just float in and observe stuff, and what'll be cool is, you know, we could follow, instead of like right now when we do observe mode, it like goes on and off, and it's like it's really hard to follow. It's kind of glitchy, but this way we could, I mean, the long training and neuroplasticity that comes with Nito 2, we can follow these guys for a long amount of time. I'm also going to penalize them for just standing still. I think I'm going to reward them for discovering new chunks too. So that'll just encourage some amount of exploration. I don't want to store which blocks they've touched before, because like we probably have to have some type of memory that decays, because we don't want to store every block that they've touched. Like that would be a ton of blocks in memory. So I think it's going to have to be chunks. You know what I haven't thought of? And this is an interesting school of thought, and those of you guys that are interested in the programming aspect, feel free to chime in, is for the fitness functions, should I reward them client side or server side? Because the server side's going to have, we're trying to take as much load as we can off the server side. So maybe we broadcast the events client side that happen, and then client side decides if the event is a scoreable event, or maybe we broadcast only scoring events client side. Like, this is the type of stuff that keeps me up at night. Also, I'm not running the multiplayer branch, by the way. I'm running a forked version of Master with the explosions in it that I'll push up if anybody would like to blow stuff up. I'm pushing this up to feature 500, so you can download the mod if you haven't already, install it, and hope I should put a real message in here. I knew I was going to spell that wrong. So. There we go, yes. I would like to fix that. Oh, my computer's running slow right now. Ah, the heck with it. The spelling error. A comment. I apologize. Let's see. Alright, I got some comments here. Let's hop on this. Alright. Your AI evolved to Pyromaniac. Yeah, I didn't give him a ton of options there. Like basically they're using exactly what I gave them, and they have no concept of anything else, so yeah, they definitely evolved to be Pyromaniacs, but I kind of threw them in the deep end there. Alright, it should be pushed up now. Let's see. Have you tried clearing the items on the ground? TNT Outburst says, have you tried clearing items on the ground? No, I haven't. I don't specifically know what that means, I guess. I don't think there's like a ton of items just floating around. But, let's see. Super Jerry says, I'm not even 100% convinced the client should run the neural networks. Do go on, Super Jerry. What is our alternative? Do we, like, because I don't think I can run all the neural nets on the server. I'll run out of memory there. Yeah, this is all just going dandy. Probably just create a new world. I mean, this world's not that old, but it says we had 10 viewers at one point. That's good. Well, welcome everybody. Again, I'm working on my 500th sub. Alright, Super Jerry just gave me the command to get rid of items on the floor, which might speed us up. Wow, what is that? Might be running a little faster now. So, again, for those of you guys just joining us for my 500 sub video, which this is not, this is just a stream. You can see I gave them all a Flint and 64 TNT starting out, and we're just seeing what happens. And it appears that they burn down forests and blow up villages and other things, which admittedly has no scientific merit, but I thought it'd be funny for our 500th sub celebration video. Hopefully by the time we get to 1,000 I will have something with much more scientific merit. But it's okay to have a little fun once in a while. So, Super Jerry. Okay, Mechanist says, how far are you into the multiplayer? I think Mechanist, you're on Discord like 24/7. Like you're caught up to date. Like me and Super Jerry have been discussing ways to shrink the packet size that we need. I think we ran out of spawn places again. I mean, we could switch over to the multiplayer branch if you wanted to, and I could show you guys. Yeah, I just can't find a spawn position because everything's on fire, and they're kind of up in the sky, which makes it a little more complicated. But yeah, it's the packet size, and I have some ideas to do it. I just got sidetracked this morning on a bunch of random stuff. So let's see. Super Jerry says, well, yeah, that's the problem. The server would possibly not be able to run the networks, but sending that many messages also becomes a problem. Well, the size of the message from once the neural net is loaded is actually pretty small. So if we drop it down to 5 times a second or even 2 ticks a second instead of 20, we could send just one output. I could make it so it's only the highest scoring output that gets sent. So we're just activating one output. That is just now all we need to send is the ID of the output and the value, and that's it. And that's so that makes it a lot more doable, you know, especially with the output grouping. And we could make it like 3 or 4 outputs we send using the output grouping stuff I've been doing. So it's doable, I think. It's just getting the neural net in there in the first place. But we only need the outputs because it doesn't really matter what the inputs are. But then nobody else can inspect your neural nets. Well, actually, you know, I take that back. That one, that's fine. If they inspect your neural net, we'll just have them do a call to ChaosNet, and then I can send them the neural net. TNT Outburst. I had to set up a timer to clear items every so often because items were causing loads of lag. Good to know. You know, I think I remember that when we had that glitch that they could just create infinite amounts of items and throw them on the floor, and it glitched like instantly. Super Jerry asked if the stream is laggy. Yeah, it says my primary stream is bad now, so yes. Ideally it's getting you guys the audio. Mechanist says everyone. Don't know. Sydney Applebaum, welcome back. So what's the status with the bugs you were dealing with in the last stream? I do not recall which bugs those were, but I think I fixed most of the outstanding ones that we found. There was a biology bug I needed to go back and hit again. Lots of small messages can also clog the tube, Super Jerry says. Well, I suppose we could combine them and have all the ones that tick at that specific time, send all of them at once. So, I mean, it's going to be a struggle, but we've got some options here. I mean, in reality, like, think about games like PUBG and all those other ones. You know, they're sending a fair amount of data back and forth pretty quickly, so it's got to be doable. I mean, what's the max amount of players in Minecraft? You know, that we've seen, like you know, I'm not sure what the max size of a server is, but that's why I want to get a beefier machine that can host a bunch of this stuff. Super Jerry, we should probably have all of the outputs from all the bots being sent in one message instead of every message for every bot. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But the thing is, do we want all the bots to tick at the same time? You know, because how much computing power would that take? So we're gonna, you know, because I was thinking that I would have some type of way of spreading them out. So like, let's just say out of the 20 ticks that happen in a second, you know, 5 of them would tick on tick 1, the first tick of the second, 5 of them would tick on the second tick, and so on and so forth. Audio is fine. Good. Thank you. All right. We already have so many bugs we don't remember which one we fixed. We do go through a fair amount of bugs. That's true. But I think we fixed, like after the feed, I went and got lunch, and then I came back and I fixed a fair amount of bugs pretty quickly. So like, we fixed a bunch of stuff. There's still that north-south digging thing, which I do not have a beat on yet. I'd love to figure that out. There is a biology thing. Hey, Pikas, welcome to the stream. How you guys doing? I'm told the stream is not the power of it or whatever. The stream's bot bandwidth is not going well, and actually I'm looking at YouTube and it does not look great. Max size depends on what you set. Yeah, I guess typical specs for a Minecraft server. What are we talking about? Yeah, I think I've seen 20 is a nice default that people go to. But that's 20 players, so I'm not sure with these being mobs if the traffic's different. You know, especially we're spreading out the chunks too. Oh man. Could not find a spawn place. Okay. I think that world is just done. I'm going to just create a new world that we can blow up. Alright. Mechanist, go have fun in Spanish. Let's see. Super Jury says, cool, technically $1 million, though you'll never be able to have that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It'll be interesting, because like, you know how I have people run 50 at a pop right now? If we put in like organic spawning and then like the actual like breeding where 2 bots do an interaction, nothing funny here, do like an interaction like similar to trading where then they spawn another one, then that would change those numbers up, so not everybody would be training at 50. So we'd have to have some type of thing in here, like a limiter that like basically measures how long ticks are taking and would limit the amount based on that number. So Pika, so when are you going to hold a war between bots? I don't intend on like directly pitting bots against each other in the immediate future, but like that's part of the thing. We've given them biological traits and things like that, is that they can identify like who's in their tribe, and I'm hoping tribes will form, and then ideally, you know, the stuff might happen, but I'm hoping we'll see a lot more intelligent behavior before we get there. But again, I was talking about the long runs. That's where we need the long runs, because they're not even smart enough to know anything right now. Their navigation is bothering me. Like, so I think you guys might have seen before I go in here and blow up another world. I'm going to try and go on Discord if I can, and I'll try and show you guys. What was it? It's TNT's work. TNT's been doing some pretty cool experiments. Where is TNT's experiments? It's like, yeah, like my last video I was showcasing some, though my last video on iTunes turned out horribly, but it's up there. The sound was awful on it too. I don't know why I use the same headset I always use. Hey, 500 subs. Oh man. Hold on, we're just gonna watch this for a second because this just makes me... Oh wait, no, never mind, not that video. Dang it, no, don't show me my own YouTube video. I thought that was... Don't play it, stop it. Alright, I don't care. The boat picture was brilliant, but yeah, so it's... I forgot where I was going with this. Yeah, so if you just set them on this and like basically the deeper they dig, it's a very linear progression. It's almost goes back to Mario. Dig down, craft stuff, dig more. You know, it's versus the world is not linear. So their navigation skills, they need to be able to find blocks given the block positions around them and stuff. So that navigation thing is something I'm going to be more focused on in the future, because if they just, I mean, right here we're almost spoon feeding them. As they dig down, they find the resource they need to craft the next thing. You know, so it's a good experiment, that, but it's extremely linear, and we're not putting them in a linear world. It's not even like Mario, if you think about it, is almost one-dimensional in a way, where they just need to go forward. You know, don't go backwards, just go forward. You know, there is some up and down, which makes it two-dimensional. But like Zelda would be a better example of what I'd say a two-dimensional game is, where you have multiple decisions to make. Should I go up? Should I go left? Should I go right? Like the old original Zelda. This is a three-dimensional game, which adds a whole bunch more complications, and I'm probably a bit of a masochist, I guess, for picking a three-dimensional game to try and learn this all in, but you know, that's the way it goes. Probably would have been better off starting with something like, well, it wouldn't have been as interesting. Minecraft's much cooler, but alright, I gotta catch up on these comments here. Alright. Pika says, I could set up a server for you if you like. Well, this can't just be any server. It's got to be ChaosCraft mod proper. But if you know of a way to inexpensively host an extremely beefy Minecraft server, I am all ears. So I appreciate the offer. Small survival servers are often around 10 to 20 players. Bigger servers and 50 ones, really big servers, can be a couple hundred, but those often distribute between different servers. Okay. So Super Jerry, if you could find me the information on how you would do distribution between multiple servers in Minecraft, that would be huge, because I mean that is like my expertise. If you go to schematical.com, like building distributed web application architecture that distributes the load is what I do for a living to make money. So if I could wrap my head around any ways we could do that with Minecraft, especially native, that could actually, then we could save, we can go a lot bigger, I bet. TNT Outburst, will Nito 2 make the bots add meaningful connections to the neurons instead of making random connections? Well, yes. So I'll explain kind of the concept again, is that there's a manager and a worker neural net. So there's two neural nets, and one builds the other. So right now, ChaosNet just builds a neural net, and the bots go out there and try and do everything they can, but that neural net has all the information they can't learn as they go. Well, instead, ChaosNet will build the manager neural net. That neural net will then have a shot at trying to put together the other neural net on the fly. So as it sees things in the environment, it says, oh, I saw wood. Okay, that's something we haven't seen before. What do I do now? Well, it creates that neural net. Those neural nets, the manager neural nets, a lot of them will be stupid, just like the neural nets we're dealing with now. But once we find ones that learn on the fly, then things get really exciting, and this whole thing starts moving a whole lot faster. Sydney says it's all about the birth rates. I think that was in reference to something I said, but I've yammered on way past that. Well, add meaningful connections is difficult. How do you determine which ones are meaningful? Yeah. Oh, something just glitched out here on the screen I'm reading. I should probably put something on so you guys can see something while I'm randomly ranting on here. Let's see. Useless says, what is the most complicated thing they have learned so far? We've seen them run from enemies. We've seen them, craft a fair amount of stuff, but I'm trying to think. Oh, there was where they kept destroying my crafting blocks. I don't know, there's so many things that they've done. It's, they haven't done any communication to my knowledge. I have to think about that. Guys, other people that have been following along, feel free to chat. In a normal world without cheats, they've gotten the crafting tables and wooden pickaxe. Yep, that was pretty cool. And the boats. The boat thing, if that's the picture I was looking for. That's awesome. I love that there's a guy riding a boat. They figured out how to get into a boat. That's huge. In a prepared experiment, they've gotten tools and mining stuff. Yeah. So basically, millennial parenting. I miss Pika where you were going with that. Super Jerry, anything you should work on? If you haven't taken any steps to condense the neural network or compress it, let me take a swing at that with the outputs, because I didn't want to do this, but I have some additional ways of compressing the size of those neural nets by not using their actual output names, but it makes it tougher to read. But it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make this thing work. Let's see, TNT outburst. The most advanced things I got in the player build was a stone sword and a furnace. Did they use the furnace TNT? I don't know if they can use. That's a legitimate experiment I should run instead of dynamite. I guess I could just give them food. All right, let me start this up real quick. I should probably not spawn Rick next to lava. Alright, I'm in creative mode. Let me fly. Let me just try and get Rick in right here. And Rick is slowly falling, and there he is. And there goes everybody else. Oh, you'll also note I got rid of the debugging boxes and neurons for the video that I was doing. Verb F5. Cool. You guys have something to watch at least. Oh. Well, I can't scroll if I don't have my mouse, so I need to be able to scroll to read these comments. Oh, look at that. Starting fires right off the bat. Oh man, I got this awesome shot for the 500th video where it's a perfect, this is fine type moment where there's a guy standing between a bunch of stuff that's on fire. He's not on fire. He's just chilling. So Super Jerry, what was I going to say? Oh, if you can find any information you can on how they would distribute load between Minecraft servers to do like the couple hundreds, because we could possibly do that. I feel like we're going to need sponsors after a while though, but if we're hitting 500 subs right now, you guys can keep sharing stuff. We might reach more, which could get us sponsors. Not that I would rather them contribute some giant servers and a lot of compute power for me, or buy a bunch of AWS, give me AWS money, so we can run this thing at scale, but we gotta get there. Useless. What have you programmed their aim to get a higher score? I can show you, actually. I will post a link to it. So TNT has done a lot of adding to this thing, I believe that's correct. Yeah. The fitness rules are posted there, so that gives you some idea. You got to be a little technical to understand what's going on there, but not too much basically. But you can see the scores, and we're not going to change. I don't want to, especially if we're doing like a longer run. I'm going to get rid of their spawning with explosives, but those scores will vary. I also have in my mind, because I'm trying to always think about how we would apply this to stuff beyond just Minecraft, a discovery mode where they would, basically every interaction has a score, and the more frequent they have that interaction, the less it excites them. And so, it's all about discovering new stuff, which is what Minecraft is. You know, you want to craft new things, you want to craft stuff you haven't seen before. So it's, you know, in any game, it's about discovering new stuff. So they get rewarded for discovering or having interactions that they don't have that often. Which could be viewing a diamond or something like that, or crafting a, you know, diamond pickaxe, or enchanting something. All right, let's see. Trying to get the highest score possible. I am so far behind in the comments. I'm trying to catch up, guys. Pika's got to go. See ya. Probably already gone, but let's see. Okay, the distribution's like, oh wait, you want to join the PvP? Well, 40% is full. Server 2 is 20 full, and we will send you to server 2. Yeah, we may. Well, so I thought about that. We could do this where we have a single seed, and then basically split the world up into chunks. And so server 1 is world 1, and if they get to the bounds of a, think of it like a grid. Each world would be in a grid, and they get to the bounds of one, and they can go to another. So that is a way we could scale this thing fairly close to infinitely, I guess. So that'd be interesting. They probably can't use the furnace. I don't know. Stream lagging again. Let's see. Yeah, it says we're bad. I hope the audio is doing all right. The video's not too exciting. We're just following these guys around, waiting for someone to do something insane. Was that giant hole there before? Looks like they already blew up. Yeah, the lag could have been, because every time these things explode, it just goes off the rails. I like that floating head there. Oh my god, this is so choppy. And forget the F5. We're just going to watch them like they normally would be. Alright, let's see. TNT, the only block they have learned that they need to place is a crafting table for me. They haven't learned to place furnaces yet. Okay. And I'm caught up on the comments. Cool. So I don't have to have my mouse over there. So interesting discussion, guys. Ladies and gentlemen. Not so interesting. There's something on fire over there, and there's TNT over there. See, again, just imagine how much more interesting this would be on a long, with guys that are smarter and last longer, like, you know. Oh. Guy's switching between dirt and the flint. Can't decide. Let's look at some of their neural nets. I'm going to switch out of this mode here. I'm always curious about what makes them tick. That'll be nice too, is I'm going to try and bring back the old ChaosNet neural net viewer from ChaosCraft version 1. I guess it wasn't ChaosNet. He already had died, and I tried to view his neural net. It's much more cinematic. Oh, you guys are... Oh, yeah, so here's... Yeah, I just want to find that boat picture, because it makes me smile. The day I come into ChaosCraft, and one of them's just sitting there chilling in a boat, that'll be the day I'm happy. It's the ultimate goal. All these hours and hours and hours. I mean, we got to be putting in. I got to put in well more than 1,000 hours on this thing by now. I think about it. If you count version 1, we're talking. I don't know. We're putting in 10 hours a week on this, maybe 20 hours a week sometimes. I don't know where that picture is, but it makes me smile. There we go. I should just make this my background. Yeah. I'm sorry about the video. The internet speed test says I'm doing pretty good. The router's there. I mean, I can stream stuff all day long. So I can double check that, but it's all right. There wasn't a whole lot happening there. I guess we could just actually try and dev the multiplayer branch. If anybody wants to take a look, but I have to shrink down the that, or should I? You know what? I'm gonna give them a block. That's the out. Let's see if they can put food and stuff. Let's try that. Let's go block furnace. And then, I don't know, I guess we'll give them some coal. So let's give them each one furnace and 64 coal. I mean, we could just program Adam to do this, I suppose. And then, I don't know, let's give them some food, I guess. Let's see if they eat food. That'd be, give them some, what, chicken? It's just raw chicken. I don't think we need 64 coal, actually. That's going to be a bit much. Give them 8 coal and 8 chicken. Otherwise, they're just going to throw it on the ground sometimes, and there'll be a bunch of chicken and coal sitting everywhere, and it's no good. Alright, let's try this again. Well, so OBS says I'm running at 29 frames per second and pumping out 2,700 kilobytes per second. Yeah, it's a Dell XPS 13-inch quad core. So it was, I mean, it did run me a couple grand, but I think it is getting close to time to upgrade. So let's see see how the Patreons do, Patreons, because I'm not sure I can justify buying a high-end gaming machine as a business write-off either, so I gotta figure that out too. Just did my taxes. It's all good to go, hopefully. Took forever and a day to do, as it does every year, but alright. So we've been streaming for 42 minutes. Figure we'll do at least another 18 minutes. Hopefully in that time we'll see these guys. I should probably do a hard reset. There's new species coming through all the time. Okay, so it is Minecraft. So right now it says I'm still at 30 frames per second. I mean, I could show you guys what OBS says if you want, but alright, so new experiment. Oh wait, is it the first world? If this is the first world, we gotta close it right away because there's no spawn positions because everything got blown up. Well, we're at 30 frames per second, it's saying right now. 29, 30. See, I think it's Minecraft that's... Yeah, we gotta get out of here. I picked the wrong world. We gotta blow that world up. Okay, I don't remember which one's which, so we're just deleting both of them. And we're starting again. But yeah, so Super Jerry, talking about the scaling again, if we sync the seeds and basically just said that this server was, you know, 0, 0, and this other server was, you know, 0, 1, and just basically launch servers as a grid. Yeah, Sydney Applebaum. It's a smaller one, not my biggest one, but I travel a lot. So, you know, so it's, for me, PCs are probably, I mean, you can get more power for cheaper because the size is not a factor, but keeping in mind that 6 months of the year I travel about, or I'm not at this desk, then I need to have tech that travels well, and especially considering I live out of a backpack a good chunk of the time. Sounds like an Ultrabook. Yeah, get like one of those Alienwares, but that would not travel well. Why do I have so many windows open? So many windows open. Okay, back to game. Let's kick this thing off. And we're down to 17 frames per second there for, what's he doing? Okay, so the experiment now. Hey, look, floating villagers. Did Rick spawn? I didn't see him. I don't think that worked. We're at 26 frames per second right now. For crying out loud. Refresh. Did I switch to the multiplayer one and not think about it? I might be running multiplayer, that might be the problem. No, I'm on feature 500. Where is Rick? Oh, this is going off the rails. You know what? I think I know what's going on. Hold on, let me restart this. It's because I loaded that world first. They must have statically loaded Rick. I'm glad we're getting rid of that. Hey, we've got someone else. It's Lyra Catgarl Plays. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Super Jerry, problem with scaling is just that you can't interact directly with the other server. It's true, but being as we've got ChaosNet, I could program ChaosNet to tell them, like, to pass them from one server to another when they get to the bounds. So, like, what equipment would you need? Sorry, I'm reading too many comments as I'm talking here. Hold on. We would, like, set, let's just say, I don't know, a square of 10 by 10 chunks. And if you reach the outskirts of that, like the, let's just say the 11th or the 12th chunk, we would then initiate passing the bot to the other server, the one that's in the direction it's heading, and we would use ChaosNet to sync it, you know, so it would, if that would make sense. But now, with that said, the clients would have trouble switching from one server to another server. So we'd actually have to pass it from the client too. Oh, this is mind-blowing. I don't know. We'll have to think on that. What equipment would you need to get this going well? You know, the exact equipment escapes me, but definitely a beefier. This, like, I don't have a GPU in this thing. This is a quad core with no GPUs, and I'm not sure how optimized Minecraft is for GPUs, but this machine's from 2016, so it's a little older, and it's definitely not optimized for gaming, and I don't have one that is. I have besides this Ubuntu machine, I have an old Windows machine that's beat to crap, that's way older than that. I've got a MacBook I inherited from a relative that passed away, and I've got a really old desktop from probably 2008 that runs Ubuntu and barely runs Minecraft. Like, I can't run the IDE and Minecraft at the same time. So, but what I need would be at least, I mean, it depends on how much we want to scale this thing, but it probably would behoove me to get a pretty solid, top-of-the-line desktop that had some GPUs and, you know, the latest processors and stuff like that that could really run the stuff, especially if I'm streaming and running this, because like what I should be doing is properly parallel processing the neural nets, and from what I'm told, those Java has some ability to do that, but I could split out the neural nets into different, so each neural net like runs on different processors. You can do 2 or more at a time. That'll speed it up. But we got to get there, one thing at a time. All right, let's try and get Rick going here. Oh, nope, it's test 3. Rick spawned. He just definitely spawned. He just pushed me over. And let's see. Yep, we've got a Gen 16 species running here. And to refresh everyone's memory, ideally, I got rid of, look at this guy, he's digging dirt and throwing dirt everywhere. Maybe he's just digging dirt, he's not throwing it. They should all have a furnace, some coal, and some chicken. So we'll find out if they can figure out how to use the furnace in short order. This again is not that scientific, it's more, is there something we need to alter on the game mechanic side to make sure that they have the ability to use that furnace. Alright, TNT outbursts. I have an old laptop I don't use anymore. If I can contribute my computing power, what would it be contributing to? So you are doing a good job the way you are, and then when I add the multiplayer, like we need one centralized machine to tie in to make the singular world basically where everybody can play around if we want to do the long runs and actually see, I mean, in a perfect world, see civilizations show up. That's my goal in like a lot of ways, is to see these guys interact as a tribe or a community. And they're not going to do it in 30-second pops. So, you know, also, yeah, I mean, that would be the good thing. And then I could have it, you know, ideally I'd have that machine streaming 24/7 so people could see, you know, you could observe, mode it, or whatever. But, yeah, so, I mean, you can use your other laptop, and, you know, I think we can set it up so it can run as a client, but there's still got to be that centralized server that everyone connects to, and it can't be my Dell laptop that I use for client work. So, Super Jerry, yeah, but how do you handle the edges? If it walks over an edge, would suddenly teleport to the other side? What if they build something? What if it's running away from a zombie? Good point. It's not going to be seamless, at least at first. You know, yeah, it's not going to be seamless at first. I'm just trying to figure out how we get the most bang for our buck. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, if it was being chased by another organism, you know, let's just say from a different tribe or something, maybe that would work too, you know. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how we make this thing, you know, my goal would be to hit some type of medieval castle setup with any amount of hierarchy. I don't know. Could be cool. I'm gonna go about another 7 minutes. I'm like losing my voice actually. Look at that, there's a furnace right here, but I sincerely doubt that was put there by any of our guys. I mean, I know it wasn't, but this has been a pretty good stream today. A lot of people jumping on and saying hi. Well, they've equipped coal, and now they're attacking each other. Generation 54. So this is what a Generation 54 looks like. I still have these things called ChaosCraft : Morty. I gotta change that. So this is cool. So this is what I want to see more of these neurons show up. Like these guys are going to be where this thing really starts to take off with intelligent behavior, because that allows them to tell what is directly there in their environment. But whatever we've got it set up, they don't happen that often. It's Gen 54, and it only has 2 of them. You know, and it has the ability to place. It looks like this guy's got the ability to place. If it's 2, that means that it's probably got a 5 by 5 by 5, 125 different blocks it can perceive right now. Yes, this one can perceive up to 125 different blocks in its near area, and it's, you know, and it's not really using it to its advantage. But that is where, you know, like if I had a neural net that had all those accounted for, it would be extremely big to pass back and forth. But Nito 2, that neural net would be generated on the fly in their like client side as they go. So that's cool. I mean, what if we, here's an interesting thought, is like as a trainer, like I'm not quite sure, we could almost compete as trainers to see who's, you know, neural nets do the best, especially in the long run. You know, that could be a pretty cool thing. It could be like an e-sport of some type. All right, there are comments. Super Jerry, you need to sync every block, every entity. I don't think it's worth it. Well, if we use the same seed, and where one starts, the other begins, I don't think we'd have to really sync those every block. I mean, yeah, that'd be interesting. So think of it like this, we could make it like a gray zone, make it a property that they could observe, right? We'll call it the gray zone, and they know that they could learn that like mobs don't transfer back and forth, and they can't place blocks in the gray zone, or they can't, you know, attack anything in the gray zone. So they might, you know, it'd be interesting to see if like they just build civilization on the edge of the gray zone and just use that to dodge mobs or something. But we'd make it something that they could perceive, that this area is an area that we can't place blocks in, so it now just becomes part of a game mechanic, when in reality it's server limitation. Excellent design by necessity. Alright. Sees diamond, walks forward, gets teleported to other server, other tribe kills me. It's very possible. You know, that's the one thing is, I'm curious is if they would, I should probably be viewing something, I'm sorry guys. Yeah, it'd be possible. Here is up. Is that north-south? God, that bug annoys me. Because the pitch shouldn't be set like that. Where am I facing? I'm facing south or I'm facing north, aren't I? Whoop, whoop, whoop. Facing south, yeah. They never dig east to west. Definitely a problem here. So the bias neuron should make it so it doesn't matter, but I can't even detect pitch and yaw anymore. Also, I think I might have accidentally deleted the neuron that lets them feed in their prediction to their next decision. We'll find out. Well, I'm not seeing any furnaces placed yet. You guys? I guess we probably wouldn't see it for a generation, because, well, yeah, because they wouldn't equip it. They would just equip the first thing they've got, which is, because it has not been observed yet. TNT outburst. Nito 2 sounds like a miracle. Will it take a while to create? Most likely. Yes. Yes, it will probably. I mean, with taking in mind I took about 4 months off to work on Chaos Trainer. I mean, we've been working on this thing for over a year now. Chaos Net. Before my last knee surgery, actually, is when I started it. For my first knee surgery last year. I had 2 knee surgeries last year. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a miracle, but I can't guarantee it. I mean, the best thing is that it's got neuroplasticity, which means it will move faster. You know, that they will create these neurons faster. They have the ability to change in game, which will speed it up. So, you know, one of my mottos is fail faster, meaning that, like, make your mistakes quick little mistakes so you can get them out of the way so you can learn. And so that they'll be able to fail faster and learn faster. So I don't want to sell it as a miracle. It might not work at all. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the people at Google would be using neural nets to build neural nets if it was something that was easy. You know, but who knows? No one else seems to be crazy enough to put this much time into building a mod for Minecraft that learns, I guess. So we'll be the first. With that deep introspective ending, I think I'm going to start wrapping up the stream here. So, one last chance for anybody to ask questions or throw out ideas. Yeah. We definitely got to work on navigation. Need to give them some type of collision input. I got to figure out how to do that. Basically, if they've been in one spot too long or something like that, penalize them, reward them for discovering new chunks, because their navigation is not great. You also need UI for, this is where mechanists come into play, if your mechanist's asking about this, or Super Jerry, or whoever, but Mechanist seems to like the UI stuff. Could use a target UI so we can know what target they're focused at. Yeah. Alright guys, I'm not seeing any new questions come in, so either the stream's lagged so much that my request for questions is beyond it, or something of that nature. But thank you guys for joining me today. I look forward to these Friday live streams. I'm actually thinking I might do more of them throughout the week. Just have no idea how I'd schedule them. Yeah, you guys have been great. If you're interested in supporting me, like, share, subscribe, of course. Those of you guys that are interested in giving a bit more, hop in the Patreon. Once I get those of you guys that are patrons, sign up for Patreon ahead of time. You guys will be the top of my list to get onto the server once we get the server going. So if you're interested in being able to hop on there and then observe or even interact with these guys, once we do the long runs and stuff, check out Patreon, because that's, you guys are helping me get the hardware and compute capacity to make this thing work. So other than that, have a wonderful Friday. Check us out on Discord too. There's a lot of chatter on there. So thanks for helping me hit on 500 subscribers. I bet we'll be hitting 1,000 faster than you'd think now. These things have a way of ramping up pretty quickly. All right, I'm out. I'll be on Discord. Then I'll probably get some lunch here. Later.